If anyone would be good at being in the moment and aware of how they feel, it should be kids, right? One Wyoming educator believes that these skills can help youngsters in all aspects of their lives. In fact, many adults are trying to attain mindfulness through meditation and pricey retreats. Michelle Visser started Mindful Kids of Laramie to give elementary school-age children grounding strategies so they can respond rather than react to circumstances. She joined our Leslie Wagoner earlier.
What does it mean to be mindful?
Mindful is actually very simply defined, but maybe not always easily achieved. But mindful in definition is simply to be aware, to observe what's going on around you in that moment. Simple as that, but not necessarily always easy to achieve.
Yeah. Yes. And we think of, because your program, Mindful Kids of Laramie, focuses on elementary age children, I believe.
Yeah.
And you think of those types of in that phase of life as already being mindful. So what is it that you want to teach them at that age?
Well, I absolutely agree with you that we often think of children at that age of already being mindful, but we have to recognize that we live in a time that's changing and that's impacting even a child's simplicity to just simply be. And so my goal is to either provide opportunities for children to engage in that mindfulness more deeply so that they can remember what the gift of being mindful feels like and strive to hang on to it, or to help those children who seem to be losing that because of our pace of life, because of our own emotional stresses that we don't realize as adults affect children that are part of our lives, to help them regain what we assume they already have.
Okay.
I think that when we have to consider that we live in a time where parents experience a great deal of expectation to ensure that our children are engaged in things so that they can achieve and accomplish to their fullest potential. And sometimes we forget that by simply being able to be in unstructured experiences, playing imaginatively, playing with natural materials, is the best way to help children maintain that mindfulness that we seem to be losing.
The program itself, is it something that you work with schools to bring, or is it totally independent of that?
It's a combination. I have visited and am currently visiting local schools in the Albany County School District. I'm currently working in a 1st through 3rd grade classroom at a local charter school.
Okay.
I've also worked with 5th grade children at a local elementary. But I also have offered camp-like opportunities for children where I've done half-day and full-day programs. And those encompass the teaching of meditation as well as doing art, music, free play, where children then are really socializing and doing some of that unstructured integration of those skills and just simply being that I was mentioning before that we seem to be missing out on.
Yeah. And what types of things might you do? Do you have any examples?
Yeah, I do. I did bring one art project that I've done with kids, and this is called a settling jar. And what a child might do with this is shake it up. There's glitter and other dish soap and glycerin in here to make the water thicker, to make the liquid thicker. And then by simply shaking it up and then holding it, a child has something to focus their attention on to help slow their mind down and just helping them find a way to be calm and peaceful. And so we have done things like this art activity. I have also taught them about mindful movement, and so developing a sense of our bodies. Again, when children are moving, I think when they are distracted or emotionally feeling overwhelmed, there can be a lot of chaos physically in the body, and so helping them develop a sense of, here's my body, here's how it feels, here's how my body's movement impacts other people around me. Those mindful movements help them just focus, slow down, and just become more aware of their sense of self.
What kind of results do you see when these kids experience this?
You know, it's really interesting. I was in a classroom just earlier today, and I was I said goodbye and thank you to everyone for coming, and the regular classroom teacher was getting them on to the next thing, and all of a sudden there was a thank you, and all of a sudden the whole class was just saying thank you for coming. And so, one, gratitude, just, I mean, again, another thing that we forget to express. Then outside of that, I have, each time I visit with the class, I ask them to share, has anybody used mindfulness since I was here last? And children will raise their hands and say, I was getting really angry with my brother, and I decided to walk to my room and sit on my bed and take deep breaths. As a parent myself, how many times do I wish that my children would decide to do that? And it's remarkable when you hear a child, we're talking about 5-year-old children, 10-year-old children saying, I decided to walk away. So we're developing emotional intelligence. I'm aware that I'm angry. I'm aware that I could respond in a way that I might regret later, and I need to do something so that I can change my behavior.
Wow, that's powerful.
It is very powerful. And I get moved to tears almost every time I work with children in this capacity, because it reminds me of things that I could be doing, that I'm capable of doing these. Children are really wonderful teachers.
What made you want to create this workshop?
Well, I am a teacher by background, having taught locally. I experienced a number of children who I would say are leading stressful lives, complex lives. And as a brand new teacher, I looked at that as disruptive and getting into the way of what I was trying to accomplish in the classroom. And then becoming a mother myself, that changes your perspective a lot in recognizing that behavior has a root problem. It's not that a child is behaving in such a way just to be bad.
Right.
A child is behaving that way because they need attention, they need security, they might need food, they might need basic needs met. And I started noticing that we need to provide ourselves, educators, parents, adults who work with children, and the children themselves with additional tools for how to recognize what's going on and how to outgrow, how to develop into happier beings.
That's a good way to, I think, say it and to carry that forward. Well, thank you. Thanks for being a part of the show.
Thank you for asking me to be here.
Yeah.